Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. There's a lot of, conversation and talk today about, controlling the narrative. And I sincerely believe that controlling the narrative is a wonderful thing. However, on the flip side of that, I believe that before we get to this point where we control the narrative, then it would be more advantageous if we would transform the narrative before we get to that point of controlling the narrative. See, because if we don't do this, it is very likely impossible that we can control a narrative that has just been given to us, even by those who are on our side, so to speak. But this particular narrative is not conducive to our progress or conducive to aiding and assisting us towards attaining that particular goal that we're trying to attain. I believe that when we transform the narrative, there is a particular or unparalleled power and freedom that's associated with it. I've been fortunate, throughout my 26-year journey in the Virginia Department of Corrections to acquire some experiences or experience some experiences, for lack of a better expression, that were negative and positive, but gave me some invaluable insight into this particular topic that I bring to you all today. For example, I've experienced or witnessed where you had security and administrative officials who would feed to the population this narrative in which they would say that the prison is short of staff, and as a consequence of that narrative that they hand us and we accept, you have inmates being confined to their cells and spending longer amount of periods within their cells, and sometimes weeks at a time, months at a time, all in the name of this narrative that's being propagated amongst the people where they say that they're short of staff. So what we do or inmates do as a consequence of this narrative that has been handed to us, what we would do or what they would do is they would start advocating for more staff to be brought into the prison so that they can get more recreation and get more programs. So the downside to this, or the negative consequence of this, is that we lose focus on the overall agenda, which is to cure injustices on prison reform, criminal justice reform, and now we still have inmates that spend a longer period of time, in the prison, and serving sentences that really serve no legitimate penological interest. So, but if only we transform that narrative and stop saying that the prison is understaffed and say that the prison is overpopulated. See, there's a different type of fight that comes along with saying that the prison is overpopulated. Now, what we're saying is that you need to start letting people go. See, but as long as we continue to control this narrative of the prison as being understaffed in terms of like security and administrative officials, right? As a consequence, we saying get more security staff and more administrative staff in the prisons, and we keeping the prisons overpopulated, with inmates as a consequence. So this is the danger. So when I say that there's a certain power, or unparalleled power and freedom that's associated with transforming the narrative, this is what I'm talking about. So what we say, we can lead, we can, put the type of narrative out there that's gonna like, hinder the progress towards prison reform and criminal justice reform. So what I used to say to the people when I was in there, stop saying that the prison is understaffed, right? And start saying that the prison is overpopulated. There's a difference. So I could go deeper into this particular topic, but I'm not gonna go to deeper into it because I believe that the message is clear. But if we apply this particular methodology to every single struggle in life, meaning transforming the narrative and controlling the narrative, I believe that we can get further. Transform the narrative.